Today I'm going to show you how to make the ultimate Chinese stuffing. Lo Mai Fan is the classic festive Chinese side dish. Hey everyone, I'm Flo, Duties Behind the Camera, and we're all about simple food, simple faith. Merry Christmas to all of you. Lo Mai Fan is definitely a family favorite for us. Every Christmas we will have it, and probably every Chinese New Year as well. And so I really do believe that this is the ultimate Chinese stuffing because it has so many ingredients in it. There are many ways to make Lo Mai Fan. I'm making it the stir-fried method, and this recipe can be found in my cookbook, Chinese Homestyle. I'm using 3 cups of glutinous sticky rice for this recipe. I soaked this in just regular water overnight, and you want to be able to put at least an inch of water above the rice so that it can actually soak up the rice without getting too dry. So I'm going to go drain this rice now before we use it. Glutinous rice is also sold as sweet rice, so it's different from jasmine rice, Japanese rice, sushi rice, all of that. It is a completely different type of rice. I soaked mine overnight, but you can soak yours for a minimum of 4 hours. It really depends on how dry the rice is. So if your rice is a little bit older, you're going to have to soak it a little bit longer. Sticky rice is not hard to make, but it is a labor of love because there is a lot of chopping. I'm using 6 lapchung, which is a Chinese sausage, and also 1 length of preserved pork belly. Now, what I've done this time, sometimes I don't do this, but my mom suggested that I blanch it for a couple of minutes to soften up the meat so that it's easier to cut through. So hopefully she's right. Oh yeah, so much easier. Oh my Lanta, all this time I've been chopping it up just straight from the fridge. Speaking of mom, the very first time I made the stir-fried sticky rice, I made it for Chinese New Year several years ago, and she takes a bite and she says, "Sticky rice is not sticky enough. I don't think you added enough water." So I said, "Oh, it's the stir-fried version, Mom." "Oh." Takes another bite. "Oh, then you did very good job." Phew. Chinese mom criticism averted. Right, I hope this is also more soft. Oh my goodness. I don't know why I didn't listen to mom to begin with. Thanks, Mom. Good tip. All right, so we want everything to be kind of around the same size. It's all about the mouthfeel. With Lo Mai Fan, every bite is a little bit different because of all the ingredients that are going to be in it. All right. Oh, it's going to be so good.
Look at all that meat.
I'm going to chop up 5 green onions. Separate the dark green parts from the light green and white parts because we're going to cook this part, but use the dark green as the garnish. So I'm using dried mushrooms, dried scallops, and dried shrimp, and all of them need to be soaked for at least half an hour with hot water before you use them. I'm going to chop up the mushrooms first. You can use fresh mushrooms if you want, fresh shiitake mushrooms, but I'm using the dried because I find that they do add a little bit more flavor, and I'm just squeezing out the liquid. They are like sponges, kind of cool. And we're going to save this water just in case we need to use it in the rice. I'm cutting off the stem because it's actually very chewy and we don't want that part in our sticky rice. Yeah, again, we're going to cut these down to the same size as the rest of our ingredients. If you're using fresh mushrooms, you might want to use a little bit more, so maybe 6 fresh mushrooms. These are the smallest dried scallops I've ever seen. My mom used to live with us, and so I had access to all the good stuff. And now she doesn't live with us anymore, and so I had to go buy my own. And I couldn't find the big ones in the store. which are really expensive too, by the way. So I was kind of happy to find these little ones, and I'm going to shred these. They should be easily shredded. They don't need to be chopped. I'm saving the scallop water to add to my rice. This is about the equivalent of 6 quarter-sized dried scallops. All right, next is the dried shrimp, and I have about 2 ounces of dried shrimp. I'm gonna cut them down a little bit because they're kind of big. If you have smaller ones, you won't need to do this part. And again, I'm saving the water to cook the rice. Okay, this is about good. Just, again, you want them to be at least the same size as the other ingredients. We're gonna get cooking. Let's turn the heat on up to medium. And if you don't have a wok, you can use a large Dutch oven or a large frying pan where you can easily stir all of the ingredients together. Once you see that wisp of smoke, add a tablespoon of cooking oil. I'm using avocado oil. You can use any neutral tasting oil. Adding all of my meat, Chinese sausage, pork belly. And the mushrooms. Just cooking this for a couple of minutes. I'm gonna get the oils going, the flavors going. And once you start to smell it, all the flavors, I'm gonna turn off the heat because I can't move fast enough. We're gonna take all of this and put it in a bowl and set it aside. Turning my wok back up to medium, adding 2 tablespoons of cooking oil, adding my rice, the dried shrimp and dried scallop, and the white and light green parts of the green onion. We want the rice to be nicely coated with all of the oil. Stir this around until we get that. Once all of the rice is sufficiently coated with the oil, we're gonna add all of our meats back in. Look at that. Doesn't it look amazing?
All the colors, yeah.
Okay, we're gonna flatten the rice. Then we're gonna start adding our liquid. All right, I forgot about the soy sauce. We're adding 2 tablespoons of just regular soy sauce. Give that a stir first. All right, now we're gonna flatten it. Okay, we're gonna start with the scallop water that we were soaking the scallops in. We're gonna put in about 1/4 cup at a time. So we're waiting for the liquid to evaporate, and you can tell by listening. So once all of the liquid has evaporated, we're gonna give it a stir. Okay, give it a stir. Okay, add another 1/4 cup. Flatten it out. And we're moving on to the water that the shrimp was in. Adding about a 1/4 cup again. I'm gonna keep going. Okay, one more time. So that's 4 additions of a 1/4 cup of each liquid, or not each liquid, but the amount before stirring around. At this point, we're gonna try one of the grains of rice to see if it's cooked through. That's very close. So you would just keep going until you get the right texture in your mouth. All right. Okay, trying another piece. It's still a little bit hard. So now I'm moving on to the mushroom water. And again, 1/4 cup at a time. And if you don't have any more liquid, just start adding water. I wish you guys could smell this. It is, oh, it's so fragrant. Smells so good. I think it's there. Right, turning off the heat. Right, adding the green onions back in. Let it stir. So my great aunt used to be in charge of sticky rice for our family Christmas gathering. And her advice was always, you know what, the more stuff you put in it, the tastier it's gonna be. So it's good that you have all of these fixings kind of like in the rice, because it's not just about the rice, it's also about all of the different ingredients in there that makes it super tasty. If you think about it, all I added was a couple of tablespoons of soy sauce. All the other flavors comes from all the other ingredients. All right, let's get this on a plate.
That's a lot of food.
It is. It's perfect, especially if you're going to a family potluck. I have an aunt who is making sticky rice for this Christmas, and if she was doing turkey, she would stuff the turkey with this stuffing too. Oh, it's so good with the turkey juices in there. Yum. I don't know if I can fit it all on here, dude. It's gonna fall off the plate. Well, definitely in a restaurant, you'll probably get about 1/3 of what's on this plate. All right, oh my goodness, look at this pile of rice. Just top with some remaining green onions. Are you all ready for?
Oh yeah.
The taste. Merry Christmas, guys. Whoa, this thing is heavy. Good thing I've been like lifting weights. I set this thing down. This is definitely a staple in both our growing up years, our family history. The stir-fried version of sticky rice is my favorite and preferred. The steamed version is, well, kind of mushy in my opinion. So I like this version for the mouthfeel. Oh, those colors and the aroma. Oh, smell-o-vision, you need to arrive. Another one of those dishes that I've taken for granted growing up. Just looking at it like, ugh, sticky rice. And now, sticky rice. The rice is cooked perfectly, al dente. The mouthfeel is awesome. And what Flo mentioned before, every bite is something different, but all a party. This is the ultimate Chinese side dish.
Awesome, thanks, dude. Stir-fried sticky rice is not hard to do. It's super easy. It just takes a little bit of extra time to prep and to prepare. Wishing all of you and your families a very Merry Christmas and many rich blessings this season. For this recipe, check it out in my cookbook, Chinese Homestyle.